Hello, everybody, and welcome to our daily check-in. Today is day 5 of some of Mr. Clementi's favorite movies. Now, clearly, I can't tell you all the movies I like because some of them you aren't allowed to watch, right? So I might talk about a genre or something like that, but I have 3 movies in mind that I really wanted to talk about today, and then I'll talk about some other movies in general that I like. Um, but every movie that I talk about has kind of like some either story or moral or something behind it. The first one is the movie The Sandlot. I love that movie. I remember watching that as a kid, and or at least when I was younger. But the concept of The Sandlot, I think it takes place like in the '60s, right? And in this movie, there's a kid who has like very little athletic ability, and they move to this new town, and he befriends all these kids that like to play baseball at the Sandlot, but he's not very good at baseball, so they have to kind of help him. But he doesn't seem like he gets certain things. Like they asked him if he wanted a s'more. That's the graham cracker, chocolate, and marshmallow. Most of us know. And he's like, "Would you like some more?" And his response was, "Well, how can I have some more when I haven't had any yet?" Because even he didn't get the general things that kids did because he was spent a lot of his time alone. But what I think the reason why I love this one because it's all surrounding baseball. I just love usually baseball movies, but the thing that I like about it is it reminds me of like when I was younger and hanging out with all my buddies playing, sports in the neighborhood, which was just something that you did, and I miss that very much. But this movie, they kind of look out for each other, and this particular kid kind of grows, matured wise, and kind of he starts to fit in more, but he also starts to see that he has potential. Whereas in the beginning, he just was very down on himself. But the movie is fantastic. I don't want to give too much away, but it's funny. It's kind of like a classic, um, you know, but it's called The Sandlot. I like that movie. Now, another movie that I wanted to talk about is kind of a type of movie that I enjoy, and it's called Muppets from Space. I've always liked Muppet movies. I like the Muppet Christmas Carol. That's one of my favorite Christmas movies because I just think parts of it are funny, but also I just like the Muppet characters, whether it's Kermit or Fozzie or Miss Piggy or Rizzo the Rat and Gonzo. I mean, those are some of my favorites. So in the movie, Gonzo, who's one of the Muppets, he's starting to realize that no one on Earth is like him. I mean, they don't even know what he is, but he's just nobody's like him. I mean, Kermit, and there are other frogs and other bears and pigs and rats and all these type of animals that you see, but he is unique. And he's kind of seeking out throughout the movie, trying to figure out, where are all the people like him? And what he learns to understand is that, when you're seeking family, because you think they're going to be family because they're just like you or people like you, he realized that his friends are really his family. And that's, some things that as you get older, there are people that you will connect with very much, right? Excuse me. They become almost like your family. Like it might be work family or sports family or neighborhood family. I mean, there's all kinds. But that's the beauty. The more people you get in your life where you can have a good time and enjoy yourself, and you have people who care for you and you care for them, it really makes life really enjoyable. Like I have my school family. You guys are like my school family. I care about you guys. But then I have my personal friends, and then some of them I consider like family, and then I have like my family. But I like this movie because I thought it was interesting because there's obviously a bad guy because there's always typically a bad guy in these Muppet movies. But the thing I like about the Muppets is they kind of end almost like that Disney style where it's happy endings, which is what, if you know anything about me, those are the kind of movies I like because I feel like life sometimes is stinky enough. If I'm going to watch a movie, I want it to end right. So that's Muppets from Space. Now, the other movie that I was thinking about talking about today is a movie called Onward. That movie's pretty new. And I'm hoping I'm not giving away too much of a spoiler, but hopefully you've seen this already. But the concept of the movie, I feel like there's like a gnat or something. The concept of the movie is basically two brothers are trying to find certain things in this like fantasy type world, basically that they live and in order to bring back a family member, because the younger brother didn't really get a chance. They're looking for their father. Okay, so to bring back for like one day. That's really the plot. They're trying to bring back their father for one day because he had passed away, and that's not really a secret. But the thing about the movie that I like is the younger brother is going through all this effort because he didn't get a chance to really know his dad very much. And he's thinking about all the things he'll get to do. But what he tends to learn as the story goes is that his brother has really been filling that void, right? I'm not going to tell you how this movie ends, but the idea is that the brother has done a lot of the things that this kid has really wanted to do. Because sometimes there are people who are in front of you who are there for you, and sometimes they get overlooked because you're seeking other things. So sometimes you really got to stop and think about what is it that I have, and who is around me, and who is really supporting me, and who is really caring for me, and who is really there for me. Um, because sometimes you don't think there's anyone there for you. In fact, that there are multiple people there for you, but sometimes you don't see it unless you're actually looking for it. So I'm just the advice is just start looking around. So Onward was a good movie. I did like that. So I did like Muppets from Space. I liked Onward, and I definitely liked The Sandlot. As you know from previous videos, I love sport movies. But there's some other types of things. I mean, I like the Lord of the Rings. Those were pretty amazing to watch. I mean, you have to be committed to watch them because they're together. It's probably like 9 hours worth of movies. I mean, it's a lot. And I've said previously, I like some of the Star Wars movies and Indiana Jones, etc. I also some other interesting style of movies. Like I liked Night at the Museum. I don't know if that's a history teacher in me, where I feel like, if things could come to life at night, and I had a chance to talk to, Teddy Roosevelt or maybe Abraham Lincoln or some famous person, I think that would be so cool, as long as they were, nice people, obviously. I think it would be neat to see. So that's definitely a movie worth watching, Night at the Museum, which was always good. So what are other types of styles of movies? I do like certain action type movies. Like I liked Independence Day, and it's kind of funny because I was looking through some of the DVDs I have, and I was like, oh, I could talk about that movie. And I remember when someone asked me, what do I think is going to get it so everyone in the world will get along? And I said, I know my answer seems silly, but I think like if aliens come. And the reason why I say that is because it would be the first time people see themselves as like maybe humans or earthlings as opposed to various groups. So that's kind of like the theme in the movie Independence Day with Will Smith, is that aliens come and they're not friendly and they're blowing stuff up left and right. But the whole world has to come together, okay, in order to try and defeat the aliens. So they can't say, I'm sorry, we can't work together because you're from a different country or a different religion or a different skin color. None of that stuff. They all work together because those aliens were going to destroy them if they did. And that's almost like I don't forget what Star Trek movie it was, but I know there was a Star Trek, maybe it was First Contact, where they meet the Vulcans for the first time. And that's really what changed the world around, because now they saw themselves as human beings or earthlings. And they were able to make friends with the aliens, and then they were live in a much better society. They put an end to hunger and homelessness and all these things, which I can only dream that all that stuff will happen at some time in the future. So, movies are kind of an escape, as I said in the past, but, you know, my wife and I do not watch the same type of movies, not typically. Just like we don't watch the same type of TV shows. I'm more of a Food Network, History Channel. My one show, which is, a little weird that I like, is I love to watch Ancient Aliens. That's kind of like, I don't know. I know some of this stuff is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's probably why I like it. It's just so fascinating. But I will say I've learned a lot about other parts of the world from watching that series, putting the side that everything all of a sudden they say is aliens, to be like, there was butter on that toast. Could it be extraterrestrials? I mean, that's kind of like how everything rolls in that TV show. So hopefully, some of the stuff will be fine. So people are riding bikes and skateboarding. It's fun. But so those are some of the shows and things I like, but I'm definitely an HGTV type person or Food Network, and I love sports and baseball and all that other good stuff. So I'm trying to fulfill some of the things when the kids, they tell them some of the things that are my favorites. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Giant fan. New York Giants. Go Big Blue. And I am looking forward to this summer to catch up on some TV, hopefully. I have not watched a lot since being in quarantine, which seems kind of shocking. You think I'd be watching a lot more, but I think because I'm on the screen so much during the day, I just don't feel like watching TV. But I'm looking forward to watching some TV shows, and hopefully there'll be some sports um, coming up very soon. But until then, like I said, if you feel like sharing some of the movies you like, let me know. I'm always looking for a new movie to watch. But I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. It's going to be gorgeous out and sunny. So until our next check in, have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Peace out.